Hello everyone, I have a project to share today that I have been working on, and I have to say it was a lot more work than I anticipated. So that being said, there you go. Let's start with this one. These are some ephemera folios that I have created to store my ephemera and help me have a better idea of what I have and use it. And so I was storing them in these containers. They're like 4x6 containers. So I was storing these in kind of a rainbow order. You can see I've got red marked there in this container that I got at the dollar store. And it held them great. It organized them great. But I'm a very visual person and I wanted to see more of what I had. So this was what I came up with. I did do some research on YouTube and got some ideas and kind of made this my own. So I made this cover, and I originally was gonna use some, this is some card from a cookie tin. So that's the size I went off. However, I didn't think about the width, and it wasn't long enough. So, because this doesn't have any width in the spine, whereas I ended up using almost a 3-inch spine. So that didn't work, but that's why I came up with this size. And then I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go with it because I was there. So it's about 10 inches, the outside cover, by 6 3/8 inches. And then I think it has 2 3/4 inch spine. So then going inside here, and I've just covered it with paper. Let me try to make sure I'm in frame. I kind of went with the rainbow order, but I didn't want to stitch these in permanently because I don't know if this is going to work. And I need something that I can change when my needs change. So that's why I went with this elastic binding technique that's kind of like the traveler's notebook. There's probably a name for it. Maybe I'll pop it in there if I figure that out. So I've just wrapped those around. I figured I wanted 4 sections. And so I have red here, and this is vellum paper, and I bought some off Amazon. And as you can see, it's much more visible for what I have. This is not even half of the little red ephemera that I had. We'll flip over to, where's the other half of it? Over here. This was the other half of, and I didn't even have that much red. That was maybe half of one of those 4x6 containers. So I, for some reason, didn't have a lot of red. But so I'll mention it when I get to the pink about how many. So then I had, for some other reason, I don't know why, I had purple in with red. Probably because I didn't have a lot of purple either. So that's why I put these together here. But yeah, it is what it is. So they're not exactly in rainbow order. So there's some purple, and I actually have some room left here, which is great, you know, because I can add to it. And then so I have some orange. I didn't have a whole lot of orange either. And on this side there's yellow, which all the yellows together. Yeah. Oh, this is something I'll talk about later, that I decided the tiny things getting lost in here. So I have this little container that has tiny scraps that I keep, and they're great for like making little paper clips and things. And then I added one onto the bottom here, which even does, if you can see, let me try not to dump it all out. There is a paper clip in there, and it's got, and then I decided to put all the tiny things in there. And that's hopefully gonna work for now, because, and not all of them. So this one's pretty tiny, it's still in here, but most of the tinies, they're in there. There's some more orange, some more purple. And this is stickers and die cuts as well. So like that's a die cut, those are stickers. I didn't put anything two-dimensional, T-O-O dimensional. So this one is probably the most dimension there, and this one, and I just don't have another place for it, but mostly, and these are a little bit dimensional, but they may or may not stay. I kind of want this to be for more flat items. So there's some blue. So this is getting into the second signature of elastics here, and this paper isn't blue, but it is for the blue. I used, so these are single-sided papers, and I used just some ink pads to kind of put the blue down, just to tell myself what goes there, really. So for the most part, I did that. And then greens. Now this ephemera, it's got 3 colors. I threw it in green maybe because I didn't have as much green. I seem to have a lot of blue and a lot of pink. And so, and here's this section. Let me just keep flipping here. And the strips are different sizes. I think I found that like a 2 3/4 or 3 inches was pretty good for the biggest one. And then the smallest one, not really less than 1.5 inches. And then I have a variety between like 1 3/4 and 2 inches as well. So, and this is another somewhat dimensional. I have these stickers, you know, but I haven't used them because I can never find them, or I don't see them when I'm doing things. Here is the 3rd signature section, where I have a lot of pink, and see, it's packed because there's a lot of pink things. And this is, it's kind of orange, but it's supposed to be gold. You know, it didn't go perfectly, so I'm leaving this stuff in. And then I have a lot of gold too, I guess. So this paper actually has gold on it, which worked out great. And then I have more room here, which is again great. And then there's another side of the pink, lots and lots of pink. Then I have a kind of black, white, gray. I had a black, white, gray container, and that's all these ones. And this section, I don't know if I've taken out the tinies from here yet. So some of these might go into this little container that I have over here, especially if it's slipping out, because they do slip out, you know, sometimes if they're too tiny or if they're too big for the section, they'll slip out, but so far it's working great. And then I also had a container of like beige colored, or vintage maybe, and that's this right here, and browns. And so then this one's the browns, and then this is the other side of the black, white, gray, silver as well. This looks like it might be navy. I'm looking at it, but you know, not everything's in its perfect order. And that is it. So hopefully, for this one at least, hopefully this will work much better for me. And then the other folio that I made, let's get this over here and get this kind of in frame. I had this vintage like scrapbook photo album. That's what this red cover is, and I'll show you. These are the pages that came out of it, and I didn't know what I was gonna use it for when I got it. It's got a nice thick card, but it has this leaf, and I tried to just do it with this leaf and then glue it down, but as you can see here, it wasn't strong enough, and so good idea, it didn't work. But I did want to use, I wanted to go ahead, and since I'd already gutted this, I wanted to use this book for it. You can kind of see, it's hard to get in frame here. And for this one, I actually went ahead and made eyelets through the cover. Can you see that? There we go. And strung the elastic through to make the signatures. And then I decorated the cover. This is a Tsunami Rose printable I had, as is this, I believe. We've got some ribbon and trim, a little vintage crochet. I think this actually came off of like a shirt that I found at the thrift store, and it was completely all like crochet, so you'd have to wear it over something. And I think it was one of those things where you couldn't try it on there. I took it home. It looked terrible, but I had bought it anyway because I knew I could take it apart and use it, and I've been using the flowers and things for that. This is some hand-dyed seam binding, and then just a little rose, and that's what I did to embellish this one. This one is big. It's gonna be hard to stay in frame. So this is the original inside, and then I just added a scrapbook paper pocket here. This is a digital, what is this? I think this is Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and it's one I've had printed out, and I was storing my digitals that are printed out in a file, hanging file in a file cabinet, but again, you know, I need to see them to use them, so I think they were a little too hidden. And then let's see if I can go in here. This this was before, I made this one before I bought the vellum, so I was trying to use what I had, and I thought I'd had vellum when I started the project, and turns out I was out. So I had some pattern vellum. This one actually works pretty well, this polka dot one, but I only had like one 12 by 12 sheet, so it went pretty quickly. This takes a lot of vellum for this project, but I like how sturdy it is. So this section is like tags and these kind of things. These are like Tim Holtz ephemera. Yeah, tags and that sort of thing. More tags and labels, and then I put some doilies in here. And then ideally, I think it's better with a more plain background. This, the reason I used this flower one is it's actually a placemat, and so it's like 17 by 11 inches, so I could use it without having to, you know, combine papers. Whoa. So this section has a bunch of vintage postage stamps. These I got at a garage sale, and they're actually still, you know, on the backs of whoever mailed them, like on postcards. So some of them are on pretty thick card there, but they're just all from all over the world, and so they're pretty amazing. And there's more here hiding behind. And then this is a large, like, journal page thing, and that's just tucked in there. And then I have some birds here, and this one's a large tag. You know what? I'm going to pull this out because I think it will go with something else I'm working on. Put it over there. So then this section here in the middle here is, are we out? Yeah. Is all like word stuff. So I had made some scripture journals there in my channel. Videos of how those turned out, and I had extras, and these were all like free printables that I found. And then these right here are actually already made, as well as these, and I've just printed those out. I think those were a freebie on her website. And this whole section, okay, so I would not recommend this much detail in the vellum. I had it forever, I used it. The thing is I need to see it, and so it's defeating its own purpose here because I can't see what's behind there as much, but I'm gonna use it because that's what I have. And this section works out okay with it because it's all flowers, so I put all flowers in here, and so I can just kind of pull out what I need. And then this one was some butterfly vellum I had. Again, I would not recommend this. It's not visible enough for me, but because it's butterflies, it's kind of obvious what it is. And so, you know, the great thing about doing it this way with the elastic is when I have the energy, or maybe I find I really need to be able to see it better, I can redo this and just slip this one back in. So on this side, I have kind of vintagey stuff. I don't know what to call that, but yeah, and then some of them are bigger and they stick out fast, but it's not too hard to move it. Like, pull all that out, and you can see what's behind easily. I had a ton of things I've printed out, and these ones are just like random. They're not any one designer in this section. So then this section right here is all Cameo. Oh, it says right there. I put little tags on. Good Cameo Shop that I had printed out. These are ones I purchased and printed out. These section here are mostly freebies that have been printed out. This section here is Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And I try to keep the some of the identifying information on because I will completely forget, and I'm not good with computers, so I can't easily go back in there and find out what it is and who made it. So then this also is Ephemera's Vintage Garden, Paris in My Heart. These ones I think are Ephemera's Vintage Garden. You know, don't quote me on it because I can make mistakes, but I'm pretty sure most of them. So then, and then this pocket here is the start of Tsunami Rose. I have a lot of printables from her, and they were all just, you know, in the file cabinet, and some of them I've coffee dyed, you know, so I obviously intend to use them, but it's hard when I'm doing a project to see what I have without seeing it. And so then this last whole section signature is all Tsunami Rose, and for this one I used some of the Atlas paper to the back, to whatever, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, and I also did this one differently. So I made this one flip out. I can't get it all in frame, and I don't have like the zoom feature, but it has wings, so it's a single signature, and then the two wings flip out. Ta-da! See all that? And we'll just move on from there. And then in the back, I have another pocket that I added, which has also another one that's already printed out. This is a Tsunami Rose vintage something. I have it around here somewhere. It's part of this whole kit. Yeah, I don't remember. If you want to know the name of that kit, ask me in the comments because I can look that up. I don't have the little strip with its information right here, and so you see I completely forgot what it is. But that's this book, and it's in a nice little pretty package. I like that if this system's not working for me, this book is not, you know, useless. I can just use it for something else. So those are my two ephemera folios, and I really hope that they're going to help me not just stay organized, but be able to see what I have and use it, because that is, you know, I'm still learning what works for me, and I think that I have come to the realization that I need to see it. It can't be too hidden. I really love it organized. I really need it organized and in detail. That's me. However, I really need to see it as well. So thanks for having a look. If you stayed to the end, you're amazing, and I appreciate that. Have a great day. Let me know what you think about this and what systems work for you and what you're using. I would have rather bought these pre-made, honestly, but I didn't find what I had, and I did try to use, oh, here, I have one right here. I tried to kind of work out a system with, these are trading card pockets, and then I also have like coin pockets that are a little smaller. They're 2x2, I believe, squares, but it just didn't work. It's too divided and then too tall, and so I had to make my own system. So I really hope this works. Have a great day. Thanks for watching again. Bye.